Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. I wanted to give a quick update on something new that's going on at the Woodman unit. So, some of you might have heard that some of the prison units all across the U.S. are getting tablets. These tablets are not like traditional tablets that you and I might have in the world. So, some of the key features that are needed for inmates are different than what we would typically need in the world. So all of those features that they're not allowed to have, that they don't need, are turned off. And they're only allowed to have certain features. So one of those things are going to be the ability to request things from the unit administrators, submit requests for documents or upload documents, submit grievances or request different classes. So right now, all my girls, if they want to get into my class, they have to write it on a paper form. It has to go through a chain of mail, and then it has to get approved. So this will make it to where it's electronically done. They have access to video visits and phone calls. So phone calls are available there at the units now. But everybody stands in line and waits on a phone. It tends to be something that causes tension, causes arguments, fights, things like that. And a lot of people aren't able to get visits simply because their family lives too far away. So this allows them the ability to see people, their family, over video calls and maintain that connection. They have access to educational content, different job and life skill courses, books, sermons, we're going to get to the sermon part here in a second, Bible studies, worship, all on an app called the Pando app. It is similar to YouTube in the sense that it's set up kind of that way. The difference is the only thing that is allowed on this particular app is sermons, Bible studies, worship, devotionals, anything to do with Christ and learning about Christ. That is all that's available on this platform. And they also have access to a law library. So the few things that they do have access are things that are going to make them more productive while they're in there. It is going to be something that they are able to work on life skills so that whenever they are released, they have a better lease on life, and ideally the chance of going back to prison and going back to your old lifestyle is going to decrease. So another great thing about the Pando app is it actually gives the inmates the ability, because it's able to be downloaded by people in the world as well. So it gives them the ability for their families to download the app and for them to watch the same sermons, for them to listen to the same worship or go through the same Bible studies. So it's not only helping the inmate, but it is actually something they can do together with their family in the world to start bridging that gap long before they even get out, to where families can start to be put together on a foundation of Jesus. That's going to make a huge difference. A lot of times when we first get out, we're having to make things up to our families for things that we did in our past. We're having to rebuild trust. We're having to show them that we really do love Jesus. And those are all things that we have to walk out in the world. Well, we can start building that foundation now while we're still in prison. So then we're one step ahead of what we were 17 years ago whenever I was in prison. This app is going to change the way things are done. It's going to allow people like me who would love to be at the prison 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, but have other commitments and other family obligations, so it limits our time. But this allows us to be in the prisons more often and sharing the good news of Jesus more often. The ability to connect inmates to their families with going to church. I mean, it's not together side by side, but when you're listening to the same messages and you can discuss it and talk about how it made you feel and things that you're going to apply to your life out of it, that makes a big difference. It is a foundational stone. And we need these foundational stones as people are being released back into the world. So the reason I'm making this post now, I have actually been in contact with the Pando app and trying to get the Convicted Ministries on the Pando app. So, but I didn't want to put the cart before the horse before I had that final approval. So I'm still in the stages going through with them, making sure that my videos are up to standards, that the content is correct and biblically accurate, things like that. They do not want anything going to these men and women that is not correct, that's not biblically accurate. They want to make sure that whoever is preaching, that they are on point, and that whatever the people are getting that are in prison is something that's going to add value to their life, not take away. So, but one of my ladies at the Woodman said that they are actually putting in the Wi-Fi hotspots in order to set up their ability to have the tablets. So I have decided to go ahead and talk to all y'all about this, because this is something that God showed me before the prison ministry was even a thing, that this is something that we are supposed to be on. This is something that He has designed specifically so that we can reach more people for Him, so that we can reach more inmates. I am only one person. Chase is only one person. Tracy is only one person. We can only go and do so many Bible studies and so many sermons on a Sunday or on a Bible study on a weekday, because we are so limited by how many people we are. But the great thing about the tablet is we can simply upload our videos to this platform, and right now, as of 2022, over 220,000 inmates across the United States can jump on and view the messages. So it takes us from being able to speak to a small group on one unit or just a few units in our area, to be able to connect with people nationwide. So also, the Pando app is expecting over 400,000 tablets to be across the U.S. by 2023. This is a huge need, y'all. This is a huge need, and for very minimal financing. The Pando app asks that we sponsor tablets, it costs $18 a month to run a tablet. So Convicted Ministries is going to step into that role of providing tablets for people. Ideally, I want to sponsor the Woodman unit. They should be up and running by January. I want to be able to talk to these girls more than just once a week. I want to be able to get great worship on there. I want to be able to get other pastors that have a heart for the lost and plug their messages in. So I'm asking, would you consider partnering with us financially, donating financially, $18 a month? And together, we can reach so many people in prison. And God can use us in our measly little $18 a month to change the life of hundreds of thousands of people who are incarcerated. So that whenever they get out, they're running to Jesus. They're not running to drugs. They're not running to old habits. They're not running to old friends. And they're not going back to prison. And they're going to take their story and they're going to do just like I do. They're going to do just like Chase does. And they're going to tell it to other people who are struggling. And God's going to use them to impact the world as well. So would you consider partnering with Convicted Ministries for just $18 a month? We love doing our Bible studies. That is not going to stop. This is just an avenue where we can reach more people all the way across the United States with what God is showing us. What we've been doing at Woodman is so fruitful. We are seeing the fruit of it week in, week out. God is changing lives in there. And God's given me the ability to launch a school of ministry for these people who feel like, hey, God's calling me to share what I went through with people who are in prison. God's putting all the resources together. Would you partner with God today? Would you sign up for $18 a month and get somebody who's currently incarcerated the ability to learn job and life skills, the ability to have access to a digital Bible, digital worship, digital Bible studies, digital sermons? I mean, some of the huge names, Life.Church, Elevate Church, Hillsong Worship, all these other churches and ministries for worship are on this platform already. We just want to hit it from a different angle and specifically speak to the people that are in prison about things that they are currently going through. If y'all would continue to pray with me, if I could ask you to partner and financially donate to the ministry. Everything is going right to the prisons. God is using this to change lives. I see it already, and we have only been operational since July in person in the prisons. I'm so excited to see what He does through this new platform and this new avenue, using technology to really reach the people. Until next time, let's continue to be set free.